Hi, I'm Andy Wible, and welcome to Timely Topics. Today we're going to be talking about the Summer Film Academy here at Muskegon Community College, and the faculty person that's leading the Summer Academy is Dave Anderson, and he's with us today. Hi, Dave.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Summer Film Academy, first time here at MCC.
Yes, but it's not the first time that we've been able to do it.
Okay.
In a couple of other settings, and we found it to be a really positive experience for kids who have come a long way already, or who are just really beginning to think about,
motion pictures and
hey,
film.
what could I possibly do with it?
Yeah. So can you give it just a quick overview of, it's a week-long camp. It's July 21st to the 25th.
Right.
And generally, what would someone expect?
Well, we're looking for high school juniors and seniors.
Mm-hmm.
I have occasionally had some students that are sophomores, and I always remain open to that.
Sure.
But primarily juniors or seniors who, they love movies. They've dreamed about making movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty observant, they're insightful, but mostly sometimes what I really like to see is somebody who's a little weird and who's got some real passion and interest. And they're looking for an experience that could be exciting and creative, that might help them pay off down the road.
When you say pay off, you mean like with a job?
With a job or other elements, yes. And if they said yes to any one of those, then I think it's time for them to take a good, serious look at this and take advantage of this. We'll spend 5 exciting days here at Muskegon Community College, and they're going to learn how to brainstorm an idea for a film. They're going to learn how to screenwrite, some of the basics of writing for film. Story is king right now in the entertainment industry and industries. They're going to learn how to shoot a short film. They're going to learn how to schedule for that. They're going to learn then how to edit it, and then they'll learn a little bit about marketing and how to do a really creative experience with film. It'll be a 5-day experience.
Mm-hmm.
It'll run basically from 9 to 5 each day.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start with the first day with It's All About Story. And they're going to put together characters, and they're going to learn how to create plot lines. They're going to schedule for a film shoot that day, and they're going to learn how to create and edit in the camera and tell a little mini story by the end of that first day.
Wow, so you hit
right,
the ground
hands-on.
running.
You're going to hit the ground running.
And so it's really hands-on. I mean, you'll probably have a little talk, but a lot of it's they're doing the work.
Yeah, and we're gonna give them good insights in the morning, and in the afternoon they're going to be out and about working each step of how to make a film and do the process. Then we'll spend evenings together doing some really special stuff. We're going to look at some of the best award-winning new short films from multiple film festivals. I've been a judge across anywhere from 9 to 12 film festivals, both here in the United States and Canada, but also I've done some internationally as well. So I've got a wonderful backlog of short stories that we'll take a look at each evening and say, how did that film impact you?
Right.
What did you see that you liked, and what did you not like, based on what we've been learning on this first day? Day 2 is it's going to be all about teamwork, how to learn to be a good team player in this, and they're going to learn that the best films are made by well-organized creative teams.
Sure.
And so we're going to spend some time working in the writing room. We're going to script and plan for the production schedule on that day, but then we're going to go and be the guests of Cinema Carousel. Most people don't know that one of the top movie theater chains in the United States is right here in Muskegon, Michigan. It's the Cinema Carousel. And we're going to see what has happened from all of the complications of bringing in hefty cans of film to the new digital media.
Wow, things have changed. Yeah.
And we're going to see how they actually put a film digitally up on the screen, and how easy it has become, and why we can see the kinds of films that we're seeing much more beautifully and accurately on that evening of day 2. So day 3, it's going to be all about creativity. Mm-hmm. Most people don't think they can be really creative, but they actually are. Mm-hmm. We're kind of been crafted to be creative, and so we're going to find our specialties. We're going to find what really works well for each person.
That's one thing that employers in all fields want people to be creative. Exactly. So even if this doesn't pan out, that you are in film the rest of your life, you will have some skills that come out of this that are transferable to other areas.
Exactly, exactly, and that's that. When I ask the professionals in film and media, what are you looking for somebody that you really want to spot and put into your program, put on your studio lots, and they say, can they think creatively?
Yeah.
And that comes out often. It's the number 2 or 3 thing that they tell me. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking for, Dave. Right. And when you find that kind of person, you call me.
Right. So you might need a specific skill, and then after that, it's the creativity and problem solving and all that.
Exactly, all of that.
Okay.
Day 4 is lights, camera, and action. It's our shooting day.
Okay.
We're going to spend the entire day bringing the story that we've created to life. We're going to finish the day in post-production with the team as they get to complete the film. And as the current film students here at MCC are going to be over-shouldering that have been part of several of our different programs that already are in the arts and humanities area, mm-hmm. And they're going to be over-shoulder helping with that. Day 5 is the last day. It's going to go fast, but by then they'll have made new friendships. It always happens. Mm-hmm. And those friendships will carry on after this camp. So it's where do we go from here? How do we put the final touches on the film? And then we want to make sure that they invite their family and their friends to the screening that Friday night at 5:30 at our Overbrook Theater here. Uh-huh. And they're going to see the hard work that their student and their fellow campers have made on the big screen.
Nice.
And it's going to be an after party after that we'll have the opportunity to meet some of our media faculty and some of the staff.
Great.
I've been blessed with some great connections across the years, and they're going to have some surprise elements before we say our farewells to their newfound friends.
And people can earn, I understand, like a scholarship at the end as well.
Yes. There's going to be a full scholarship will be one of the prizes at the very end.
Yeah. Now, how much? It does cost a little bit. How much does it cost? Is it $195? I think.
Yes, I think it's $195. You need a deposit of $50. We'd like to have that by about the middle of June.
Okay. But that includes lunch and.
It includes lunches each day, and then a real nice evening event on the last day.
On the last day, friends and family come to see it. 5
great days, 10 great meals, and lots of great new connections.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned you have a lot of connections that you can bring to bear for this week. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got interested in filmmaking. I know you've had a long career in motion pictures. Can you tell how you got started and where you went?
I actually went to, in my high school days, I had 2 great teachers. They just indelibilized into me things that I never expected to do. I played basketball at Pasadena High School, mm-hmm. And one of my great professors taught me about English literature and about story and the power of story. And he challenged me. His name was John Stewart. And John Stewart said, "Dave, I want you to read at least 3 Dostoevsky novels." And so during lunch breaks, I'd bring out my paperback and read a portion of Dostoevsky novels.
Yeah, right. Pretty heady for that.
And it was
age.
For that time.
Yeah.
But he had actually created a writing group or reading group, and we just loved what he gave us and how he stimulated us to really find what was inside of great literature. And so that was one wonderful opportunity. My other great teacher was Arthur Dakin. He was a World War II vet, and he had a lot of shrapnel in his leg. We'd have to excuse him from our drafting class on multiple times in the semester because he had to go over and get another operation done back in those times. But he was a favorite of mine, and I was a favorite of his. I was always in the front row of the drafting tables and asking questions, and he'd let me, keep making situations happen. And he said, just mentored me in a great way. And he was the one that got me my first opportunity, not knowing what that opportunity was going to be. He said, "Dave, you got a car?" And I said, "Yeah, I just got a car. I was a senior in high school." And he said, "Well, there's this new company over in Burbank. I don't know what they do, but they've called me, and they're in a kind of a panic, and I think you're the one I'd like to send over there. If you got a car and your parents will give me a permission slip, I'll make this connection." Well, that was MAPO. MAPO stood for Mary Poppins.
Oh, wow.
And that was the manufacturing wing of Walt Disney WED Enterprises, and then later it became WED Imagineering, the creative elements that created all the theme parks. And what they were, it was all hands on deck. And we had to get finished up the Matterhorn Mountain that was in the very first opening of Disneyland.
Wow.
And so that was my beginning starting point. And from
exciting
there,
place to start.
Just made connection after connection. And I've been blessed to do almost 300 films now. 300
films, wow. And a lot of those were done in the Muskegon area, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, yes. I came kicking and screaming. I actually had a wonderful job with a production company that had reestablished itself called Cathedral Films. And we were right across the street from NBC, and so my Bayview window as an executive vice president there was to watch the people line up for the Johnny Carson show. And then I got this call from a film production company right here in Muskegon, Michigan. And we went back and forth across about 2 years, and then finally I said, okay. And so I had this opportunity to come here, and I was executive vice president of a film production company right here who put films in all across the world. They put them in chaplains programs and all different kinds of areas, and had the opportunity also to make films that went into secular high schools, regular high schools all across the United States and Canada, and had some real great opportunities to meet some of the passionate people who have made the greater Grand Rapids area and Muskegon come alive. And so that was a great opportunity for me for about 10 or 12 years.
That's one of those aspects of the area that people might not know as much about.
That's right.
But it has a huge influence on society.
It sure does.
I remember, just growing up, the films I watched in grade school and middle school, I think they were called hot dog films or something, and I still can remember learning how things worked and whatnot through those films. So,
oh yeah. And there were about 3 of those different kinds of companies. One dealt with science films.
I see.
And they were in Whittier, California, and so I became very well known with that element as well. And Walt Disney secretly pushed inside of that particular film company, and I was in touch with a husband-wife team, Mr. and Mrs. Lamont, who had been doing documentary films, and Walt came to see them at the science entertainment company that was right there in Whittier, California.
Oh yeah.
And he stole them away because he wanted them to make up the True Life Adventure series, which were 20-minute films that became one of his major elements in getting a whole portion of his Academy Awards.
Right, right. Huh. And going just to the Muskegon connection, I mean, you can go way back with film. I know we have a Buster Keaton statue downtown, but so there's a film connection way back, even at the beginning of film.
That's a powerful connection, and the Buster Keaton Film Festival got its start right here in downtown Muskegon.
Right, right.
And the Keaton family, Joe Keaton, was on the Chautauqua circuit. This was the 1800s, mid-1800s, 1860s to 1890s. And they would start in Buffalo, New York, but their westernmost point was the Michigan Theater. And we've just had a wonderful opportunity here at our art museum, and I think the exhibit is still there.
Yeah,
if
still
it's
up,
not,
I believe, yeah.
we're going to take, as one of our surprise visits, I'll leak this one, the author of Bluffton. And Bluffton is an area with a phenomenal history. And he does a hour-and-a-half walking tour and tells all about all of the early Keaton family who expanded out into, the Keaton family actually trained all of the first silent actors right here in Muskegon, Michigan, and then sent them to Hollywood.
So we have a history there.
We sure do. And of course, I love the whole biography of Buster Keaton. Amazing man, very creative, but very influential in all of media. And we'll see one or two of his one-reelers.
Okay. Oh, neat, neat. So, you know, there's a lot of, sometimes we think of films, all we think about is the actors. And you do need actors in films. But what are some other roles that people have in filmmaking that we might not think about, we might learn about in the camp?
Well, obviously there's, everything starts with a producer who's looking for material, and when they find the material, then they begin to put together the film teams. And the film teams are obviously the writers. Most of the great writing that's been done has been done in scripting formats, and we'll learn some of the basics of how those stories get put together in really good ways. And once the script is locked, then it goes into a whole different process. And in pre-production, there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. A lot of permissions have to be invited and given. Different rules and regulations usually happen along the way in front and behind the cameras. But we'll have everything from pre-production involves getting period pieces, getting scenes put together, but also the whole how everything in the backgrounds and the foregrounds in film are integrally a part of not just what goes on when the actors step into the lights, and that call comes out of everybody be quiet now, and it's lights and it's camera and it's action.
Right, right. Is there a difference between what happens, say, on a motion picture, a film, compared to TV, compared to other types of video that's out there?
Actually, there's more similarities than one would realize than there is differences. The natural period comedies, and one of the elements that we're going to be doing here is I do an intensive week in Hollywood with the students who are coming through here. And by the way, I was very, very fortunate to have in my first 2 years in college at Pasadena City College as a freshman and a sophomore before I went.
This, right?
It's exactly a school like this.
Yeah.
And that really gave me a good start.
Okay.
And so I'm really excited to be coming alongside of MCC now and to bring that same
So you had
kind
that
of
experience
teaching.
with Disney, but also then you had the education.
I had the educational backup.
Yeah.
And so at that point in time then, you know, when everything starts to get started, everything, you have to secure all your locations, get all your permissions,
Right.
all different kinds of things like that.
Yeah, you just
that
can't
happen.
show up to a place and say, "Hey, we're filming today." Or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have to build a budget. You have to learn how to budget for a film. And then you have to learn how everything gets scheduled. You know, are you going to run a schedule? Most of the major films run 5 days a week with 2 or 3 day breaks. The situation comedies, or sitcoms as they are affectionately called, they're done on a week to a 10-day extended week. Depending on that, and a lot of those are done in sound stages. So when we do the intensive week in Hollywood, we get VIP tours and explanations of how those work as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've been to one of those in Los Angeles to see a situation comedy, and it is interesting just to watch them film for the day. I mean, it's the end product, but it's not quite how you'd imagine it when you're watching it. You know,
what's fun is watching all of those camera pods that have to roll up and down the long extension, because they have to move around and go in front or behind of each other,
right,
or they'll bang into each other.
Yeah, it's a real
have to really
orchestration to go on, and you don't realize all the people in the background, what they're doing, what they need, and then you realize, oh, this is a really big production.
That's right. That's
to
right.
get all that going.
And then the ability to learn how to really tell a good story and know when you've got a good story and when you don't. And that's usually why we get such wonderful, strong, powerful directors. And why
they're able to tell a story.
The whole history of film is full of those elements. And that's one of my passions too, is to take a good long look and a careful look and fit everything together in terms of American film, and how American film impacted the whole culture of this country.
And the world, really.
And ultimately the world.
Yeah. I know, and I've done international travel. The one thing that you notice that's uniquely American around the world, that's everywhere, is motion pictures.
That's right.
People are influenced. I just saw a friend this past weekend from high school. He was an exchange student. And I said, "How did you decide to become an exchange student?" He said, "Oh, film." He said, I just have always had a fascination with the United States due to watching movies. And I think it's one of our biggest industries.
And one of the statistics that most of my students go, "Oh my goodness." I have a wonderful executive who always wants to be notified when I do an intensive week in Hollywood. And his statistic is that every single day of every single year, there are somewhere between 60 to 150 people who get off the bus on Hollywood and Vine every single day of that year.
And if that's what you want to do, great. But if you have this background and experience, you'll probably do a little better. Yeah.
All the better.
And connections as well.
It's all about connections.
Right.
And it's all about learning how to be a team player and how to collaborate and what you can and cannot do in the right times.
Right. You know, and today people can, in some ways, put a film up anywhere, anytime that they make from home on YouTube and other similar places. Do you think that's changed the way we do filmmaking by having those opportunities for anyone?
That's a great question. The way I see it is, yes, it definitely has changed it. I mean, because the technology of the cameras, the way that the whole camera process happens, the way that lighting can be done these days, the facilities that can be had are pretty phenomenal.
Sure.
And so you can catch a cautionary element that can happen. It's like catching a bit of a virus. And that virus is, oh, I must know everything now to do. Well, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
You learn by doing it one at a time.
Sure.
And each time you do it, you get better, because it's like painting a painting. It's like writing a novel. It's like doing a movie.
Yeah.
You get better each time you do it.
Oh, I'm sure. And while people can post anything now, doesn't mean that it's good.
That's right.
So you need to hone your craft.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Very
that's
true.
So let's just remind people again about the Summer Film Academy. It's July 21st through the 25th, mainly for people that are going to be juniors or seniors in high school. But maybe you take a couple younger who are really passionate about
You bet.
doing it. Anything you want to kind of leave us with the Summer Film Academy that you think might? I mean, it takes all different kinds of people probably for the whole camp to work.
Yeah.
So people
Well,
interested in English, theater,
Oh, yeah.
film itself.
Yeah, they're going to learn transferable skills, and they're going to learn how to be a really good team player, and they're going to learn the importance of planning and problem solving, and learning to be truly creative, you know. And then we know that, you know, motion pictures are everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, now. As you've said, you know, movies, YouTube, streaming.
Yeah.
And one of the new elements that's here that I've also been connected with and privileged to be teaching as well is we have several of our colleges here that stay connected with MCC, so that in the junior and senior level of the college programs, and one of the best ones right now is Ferris University.
Ferris State, yeah.
Ferris State has a tight connection here with Muskegon
Sure,
Community
sure.
College, which is how I got connected with you and
Right,
with
yeah.
the arts
You've
and
taught
humanities.
there, so.
And so that kind of an element is
Yeah.
has an opportunity to go. That particular program specializes in digital animation and game design.
Yeah, gaming, there's a huge element.
Gaming is
You got to know
huge.
story in a game for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, and film production. So it's not just like we think of it as at the cinema carousel watching that, but games are huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you're a person who says, could I really make a good profession, you know, doing games? The answer is definitely yes.
Sure.
But it's definite upon the elements that you'll learn at the freshman and sophomore levels here at MCC, and that will give you an open gateway to the more specialized elements that are going on in digital animation, particularly now. The new digital processes are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
what can happen there.
Yeah, and I know gaming here at MCC has really, it's huge. It's a huge student draw, and we've got a wonderful instructor in Jim Landis, so it's nice that you can make that connection as well. All right, well, thank you very much, Dave. This is going to be hopefully an exciting summer for everyone, and thanks for putting this on.
Good.
And thank you for watching Timely Topics. We've been talking to Dave Anderson, who will be leading this summer's Summer Film Academy at Muskegon Community College. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact him or anyone here at MCC. And until next time, have a great day.